Well, welcome everyone. And there's so much going on this week leading up to our celebration. Let's just jump right in and get started. And look who's popping in to join us. But I was just thinking if who's had a chance to listen into the call from last week. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it live, it is on the isogenicsbusiness.com website. Um, Ernest, did you have anything to add, about some of the stuff that got you excited as you listened to that call, or?
Yeah, well, I'm excited about the Elixir, the whole concept of Elixir. Uh, that I think it means youth. Uh, yeah, Elixir means it has something to do with youth, young.
Ah,
Yeah, and
the
I
fountain
just
of
find
youth, so to speak.
say that again. Yeah,
The
exactly. Well,
fountain of youth.
we tapped into the fountain of youth with Supermix 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
correcting the telomeres. So that's another thing, and I found that less stress also is important to maintain that youth with positive thinking and obviously good nutrition. And this product is just going to be over the top, I think, in that respect.
Yeah. Well,
Is it bundled with beauty, and what's beauty with the collagen, and what's the adaptogens?
the Serenity. They're calling the package. There's a double, like a double Serenity package, and then there's also the Beauty Plus Serenity, which is a half collagen, half elixir, adaptogen elixir combo. So both of those are great ways to get in. Have customers come back and to try two of the latest products. You mentioned Supermix, Ernest, and we've had and 10 years or so ago when that product was introduced, and think about how much the world has changed just in the last 10 years. There's so much added stress and all those fight or flight things are coming up in a more gut level. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's about survival as people have lost their jobs. Sometimes it's about survival as, am I gonna catch this virus, and different things like that. Those are added stresses.
Driving down the freeway in Los Angeles.
It's getting really crazy. People are acting differently, so there's a whole another layer of stress. So if we can add on to the super mix, which has already given us a great array of vitamins and minerals and nutrition, but add the adaptogens and help with stress levels. I think as I was listening to that call, I was really thinking about how the Omeo patches blew up our business, two years ago or so, and with the patches, they blew everything up. Our businesses exploded. This adaptogen elixir product can do the same thing, and they just laid it out for us in that call last week. So, hi, Fred. We were just talking about the new product launching this week, and the Wellness Wednesday call from last week with Kathy Coover and Josh Plant. It was a whole hour, but it was so full of information, and it's a great way to jumpstart our businesses, just like the Omeo CBD patches did a few years ago. So.
This is a pretty interesting time in isogenics. Those of us that stuck around, because it wasn't everybody. Okay, there were a lot of people that they just did not make it through the transition process. Brian, you're fading a little bit there, buddy. You step back and you fade a little bit. Not gonna say anything. Happens to me at the beach too, though. No, it's a very interesting time for those of us that stuck around. We've had time to acclimate a little bit to the Isogenics program. There's a lot to acclimate to, and there is there's been a disadvantage for a lot of us that spent so much time with Zija. In particular, for a lot of you, it was really your first venture into you may have dabbled in, Shackley or something like that a million years ago. It was your first opportunity to really get involved in a network marketing business from a serious business perspective, working with people that knew what they were doing and that sort of thing. It's really an interesting time because a lot of people did not make the transition. And you guys are, you're battle hardened warriors. Many of you got started, in the early days of Zija. You grew with the company, you experienced the, the phenomenal growth periods. Then the challenges happened in the last few years of Zija. Stayed the course coming into Isogenics. I will tell you that there is a lot of scar tissue. Okay, I hear it everywhere I go. There's scar tissue. It's kind of like you fall off the horse, you're scared to get back on. If any of you have had a major traffic accident, you remember for a long time you were very skittish, especially if you had to drive, in a similar situation, a T intersection, or a freeway curve, or whatever, something similar to the environment you were in before. I remember as a youngster, I had a major motorcycle wreck, and it was probably a year, maybe close to 2 years later, I had an opportunity to ride on another motorcycle. Was much smaller, was in a controlled area, parking lot or something like that. I drove it, I don't know, a couple hundred yards, and I had to stop. I was shaking so bad. It had been well over a year. And so, you got scar tissue. And the challenge with that is, and for those of you that know anything about massage, the only way to get rid of that scar tissue is to break it up, and it's very painful. But this is a very interesting time. We already know what's going to happen with the company sales volume. Okay, they're saying that this product is better than the collagen, and we know what happened to the company sales volume. Now, that may not necessarily be our sales volume. Okay, if we weren't actively engaged, if we weren't promoting this, full on, and this is where the scar tissue comes in. You're a little gun shy to go out and do what you did when you first got started. Barbie, you were a machine. Okay, you were like a 5-year-old getting finally getting the training wheels off. Fearless. Indestructible. Hell bent for leather. I mean, if they were walking, if they could fog a mirror, you were pitching them on Zija. Okay, they weren't leaving without some Zija. And is that the level of intensity? Is that the level of fearlessness, passion that we've been, and I'm including myself, we've been doing this past year? The answer is no. And the question is, what difference would it have made if we had started Isogenics, with the same level of passion, intensity, drive, fearlessness that we had originally? Imagine where our businesses would be now, 12 months after the transition. Okay, and I mean, this is seriously, you got to hide yourself when you sneeze. You can't just go.
Oh,
You got to get off the camera.
all over the screen. No.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Bless you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
bless you. So, these are all things worth thinking about, because it all comes back to, what is it that we want? And if once you decide what you want, are you willing to decide to do what you need to do to get it? And now we got a do-over. Okay. If you would have known what could happen with the collagen being introduced, 6 months after we joined Isogenics during that 6-month transition period, if you knew what was going to happen with collagen, would you have set aside any kind of, preconceived notions of your ability, any questions about, the transition? Is this a good mix for us? If you would have known from day one, February 1 of last year, the quality of the products, and quite frankly, products are products. Okay. I mean, it helps to have good products, but products are products. Okay. No, but no, seriously. I mean, are Shaklee vitamins the best products in the world? I don't think so. They've sold billions of dollars worth of those products. Is the Amway Corporation vitamin line, I forget what the name of it is, it's gonna slip my mind. Is that the best nutritional supplements in the world? I don't think so. They've sold billions of them. The point I'm making, if you would have known, the quality of the products at day one, February 1, when everybody else got the word, guess what happened? We just got sold. If you would have known, more importantly, the quality of the company, the leadership, the level of experience, professionalism, the Kathy Coover experience, the Jim Coover experience. And then for those of us that are a little bit older, I'm talking me and Barbie, you kids, you still got another 20 years in you. To have Eric Coover waiting in the wings, he's batting cleanup. Right. I mean, and the comp plan. Okay. I made a comment last week about, something about, I forget what the context was, but in the last meeting, I said something about, go out and talk, I remember it was identify the 8 or 10 people that were in your organization at one point in time. And if they could see what you see, they would, build you $1,000 a week additional income. Now, I don't know how many of you picked up on that, but it ain't that big a deal. $1,000 a week. If you have one person in lesser leg, and this, obviously this applies if you've got a greater leg that's doing double the volume you need from your lesser leg, but you get one person to cycle twice. One person to cycle twice a week. That's it, just 2 cycles a week. You get 10 of those people, that's $1,000 a week. It's not that big a deal. You don't have to go after and find, big guns. Now, you may not have big guns in your organization, but if you could just get a couple of people in and teach them a process, if they cycle twice a week, that's $100 a week, or $108 a week to you. 10 of them's $1,000 a week. That's a lot of money. Now you've got a real business, something that you can brag about. And then what do you got to do to double that? Help them get their 10 that all they do is cycle twice a week. Here's the interesting part. That's a big deal. That's $100,000 a year over and above whatever you're making now. Okay. But it's not that big a deal because we're not talking about getting, A players or B players or even C players. Get somebody who's just excited about one of the products and they share it with a couple of friends and they cycle twice, 2 cycles. Now, here's what the real big deal is about that, because it isn't a big deal. It just takes time. Okay. Get one this month, get one next month. The one that you got this month, teach them to get their 2 people that'll cycle twice a week. 2 cycles. That's it. 2 cycles. That's as simple as getting you know, well, you guys can do the math, you can figure out how simple it is. And it may take them a month or 2 or 3 to get enough volume they're cycling twice a week. But imagine what would happen if you were real consistently doing this. The chances of not finding, you know, an A player after 12, 24, 36 months is it's almost impossible not to find an A player on your way to a 6-figure income. But it's got to be more than just the volume, because the way this thing's set up, and honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to study the comp plan. There's so many other bonus things that go on with the comp plan, an extra $500 a month here, and you know, this, you know, 5-star leadership bonus program there, and I mean, it's got to be way more than that. I'm just talking about the cycle volume. So, you know, easy to do, easy not to do, right? Simple to do, simple not to do. But this is a really interesting time for all of us right now because, you know, number one, we got a product being introduced this week. We've got the best presentation we're going to have. Oh, I'm sorry. The best presentation that we've got coming up with the
I think he's probably talking about this celebration coming up.
Right.
And we've, if you aren't already signed up for that, sign up immediately. It's free. And I think we're preaching to the choir there because I think we're already signed up. So I think you were.
I was going to ask. I looked at the schedule, and there was some new people. I have all these different lists for different things, but as I was looking, it seemed like the Friday nights. I was trying to think if it was the 5 or the 7 was going to be product focused. Has anybody taken a look at that? I was just going to.
I haven't paid any attention to the agenda.
Okay.
All I know is that what times I'm supposed to be watching.
Okay, and then I was doing 2 questions. I started on the things that Pat, you know, the one I could copy and paste, and then the thing where she said about going to your your genealogy tree. I'm finding a lot of my people that are down there that have the circles don't have phone numbers listed. So I'm gonna have to try to get through their sponsors, but on some of the ones that did not transition, what are we supposed to tell them? Like, where do they go to get their accounts swapped over? Do they just go to the back office? I mean, what do they do? I can't remember what.
It's over.
now they got to talk to customer support.
But actually, we don't necessarily want them to do that. All we want to do is collect the information, and then once the system's purged, and then get them back on board with the new product or something. Let them cycle through, but grab their information.
Okay.
However, if they've ordered anything in the previous 12 months and they still didn't make the transition through the IceGenex portal, they're not being
Purged. Okay. Yeah.
right.
But if
they're
they've
not being
ordered
purged.
anything, then they're still a customer. But if they haven't ordered anything in the last 12 months, let them go. But know that they're out there so that you can fish.
Well,
them
some of
Wait,
these
hold
are
them
like
back in.
people that I know would be very, very interested in the, you know, the new product.
Well,
guess
pitch it to them, and then
where it falls.
yeah, exactly. Pitch it to them. Don't hold back if you think they'd be interested in it, and on their time frame when they make the decision, if they're still in the system, then reactivate their account. If they're not still in the system, sign them up as a new customer.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
if they're your own people, then don't worry about it. But if they're downline to you from people that are no longer, their sponsors no longer around, then those are the ones that are fair game that you want to snag.
Right. I started my list today. It's a slow process, but hopefully I'll get all the way through, or at least the majority of it. before they do something with them. And
Well-
Fred, I'm just, and maybe none of you guys had this, but I think part of my initial, I didn't come out of the gate like I did with Zija. There was so much, it seemed like there was so much I had to learn all at once. Like with Zija, I grew with the company, and my confidence level, I take on anybody, and I want to regain that confidence, and I know I've got to do my homework, but I want to use this new product because my passion is when I know it works, or what it is, I can go to somebody just with a different level of confidence. And I guess it's just how I'm wired. But that helps, the two people getting the 2 cycles. I appreciate that breakdown. That was helpful.
Yeah, Barbie, think about it though, okay? You have not tried the new product, but you've heard about it,
Right.
okay? And you can tell people what you've heard,
Absolutely.
okay? And if they tune in or you get, pass them the replay of Wednesday's call, last week's call, then they're going to hear it.
That's
Now,
a good suggestion. Thank you.
well, I mean, if the point is I cannot get passionate about telling people about the product till I experienced it first, okay? If that's the issue, it's a false issue,
Right.
okay? Will you be more passionate about the product once you've experienced it? Yes. Will people pick up on that increased passion about the product because of your experience? Yes. However, you're motivated to try the product because of what you've heard from other people.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't they be motivated to try the product because of what they've heard from other people?
I just remember I don't know how far along I was into Zija, and I only had enough money. I wanted Jack on the product, and I was telling everybody stories, and I forget how far up I was. And somebody said, well, what's your results? And it was like, I hadn't tried it yet. So I just remembered that. So that's true. So thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, we have to really pay attention to what the limiting beliefs are and then identify how valid they are. Okay, because independent, and that was kind of where I was going with that conversation. Independent of our experience the last couple of years of Zija, independent about from our experience, our feelings of finding out that we've been sold to another company we knew little to nothing about, independent of our awareness of the comp plan and all that kind of stuff. Did any of those limiting beliefs have anything to do with the potential success of the company, the validity of the comp plan, and the value of the products? No, it was all ours.
Yeah.
It was all our limiting beliefs. And if we have, good products, extraordinary corporate leadership, excellent compensation plan, and a proven track record, how many millionaires do this company have? I mean, they got to be approaching like
350 or 500.
you're
Or
getting close to 400 millionaires, people that have made $1 million with this company. Now, some of those people made that $1 million in a few years. Some of them made that $1 million over 10 or 15 years. But that represents, 25 grand a year, 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year, and for most of them, part-time business. I mean, independent of what we believe we can do, the fact remains, this is a company that's got a track record that's spectacular.
Mhm.
You don't have to have a story of losing 200 pounds because they've got hundreds of stories of people that are in the 100-pound club.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so self-limiting belief, if you believe you can't really engage in who snuck behind you there? Was that Bob?
Thea, I think. Was it Thea?
Being sly?
Yeah, it was the,
All right.
He was in a costume.
No, that was
Bob
Thea.
is asleep.
Oh, that was Thea. Okay.
Oh, that was Thea?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Didn't look like Bob.
Bob is asleep.
I was not looking at the screen until I saw something flash by.
Right.
All right, one last point I want to make, and then I got to roll. It's a very interesting time. We already know what's going to happen to company sales. Okay, we already know we're going to sell, 16 million of these bottles, whatever Josh said the other day, of how many bottles we sold of the collagen elixir. We'll probably sell more, especially if people are starting to feel fairly quickly good results from the product. We already know company sales are going to blossom. We already know there's going to be a lot of people getting on this product. We already know there's going to be a lot of new customers that have never tried Isogenics, but they'll try it for this, independent of whether or not we do anything or not. Here's another thing. Day one of the commission calendar month, commission month.
Today is
calendar.
today is the first day of the August commission calendar.
Yes, today is the first day. Okay. It's the right day to pull out the LIA form. It's the right day to be setting, the 28-day goals. Is this it's a 4-week deal? Oh, it looks like we've got 2 more and we have 5 full commission calendar months between now and the end of the year. This one is probably the most critical one because we're wrapping up the summer. We still got another 4 to 6 weeks of the summer doldrums before people start engaging, at least 6 weeks. And so your greatest amount of momentum will be established in the next, say, 6 to 8 weeks. Every week that goes by, you diminish the leverage you have over anybody else. The next 6 to 8 weeks, summer doldrums, toughest time, but the best time to be establishing momentum, because you will be, you will have a leg up. You will be well ahead of the masses that are relaxing right now. So anyway, always good to see you guys. Appreciate your participation, and love that sunset, Kate and Brian. All right, I'm gonna roll. Good to see you guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Fred.
Fred.
Thanks,
All right,
Fred.
enjoy the event this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, we'll see. Oh,
looking forward to
Ernest,
it.
kudos on the old school Zija t-shirt.
Yes, love it.
And
All right,
Barbie.
see you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Barb,
Looks good.
yeah. Did you want to do you have a few minutes? You had a question about the program, the going forward. You were talking about like pre-enrolling. I think all I picked up
We
on
were talking about a something code and a something.
Oh, the QR codes. I don't know anything about that because I've never ordered. I think those are the tools that have the QR code, which is what you read with your phone. It looks like a little square.
And it will take you to the page of the cart that you set up for them with a particular product.
Yeah, and that's all too complicated.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
Well, I was like,
yeah.
so I just need to know.
All you need to do right now is to be collecting names and orders. Since you know what the orders are based on the bundles that are going to be available, you could simply have everything ready to go to enroll them.
And in the contact, when like the emails that I'm going to put out and the text messages, give me a second. I'll get the question.
That's okay.
Do I want, well, okay, I'm inviting them, especially, well, even the oldie goldies, they all need to be on at least Friday night. It looks like Saturday's all training, but at least get on Friday night. And if that doesn't wet their whistle, forget Saturday. But people that are new, I should include my website. And when I went in, my username is Barbie, but it says my website is Barbie Stall.
Okay, so there would be that's what you would use, Barbie.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, as I get into this, I want to get this done tomorrow. I mean, so I have time to follow up and ask people, did they get the information? And I didn't see a link or some way to attach the information. You know, I went into the new tools thing,
Mhm.
you
Well,
know,
what,
and
what information are you trying to attach?
well, just to give them a heads up on what's coming on Friday.
So,
I mean, is there,
Is
Well,
that the
it's
video
just-
from last Wednesday?
well,
that's what I just said. I was going to say, Fred, would maybe that's the best thing is, and those who know Josh planned. That
right,
might
but
be
that,
the
but
best.
that video is an hour long. That could be really off-putting for somebody. Maybe,
yeah, that's
maybe all they want is one of those tools that's like one of those minute-long videos about the teaser on the product and what's
I
coming.
saw those and maybe it was just me because I was in a fast mood just trying to get through this stuff. They didn't do much for me, but what I could do is if I attach that a link is tell them to fast forward to X amount of minutes to where he's talking.
You could do that.
Because that's only one step, right?
Right.
They could click on the
But-
link and then just,
That's up to
I-
you.
I'll look
and
back, I'll relook at those.
Where is that?
It's at isogenicsbusiness.com.
Okay.
And then you go, you look under, oh, I can't remember which tab, there's tabs across the top.
Yeah, and
then-
it says on there,
Like I think team resources, I think, or
and I think it has the word new right
And
there
it-
with that.
and there's also, and underneath one of the tabs, it says calls. And then you click on that, and then it takes you to a page for the, and then you want to choose the Wednesday calls because it was a Wednesday call. And then when it scrolls you down to that area, there's several pictures that are kind of like a scroll bar. Move it across until the one with Kathy Coover, Josh Plant, and I think the young lady's name was Emily, who was
With a
speaking.
really long last name.
Yeah, it's a picture of three of them, but as long as you recognize Kathy and Josh, and then the lady in pink, hot pink. and once you
Yes, she
click
was.
on that, the link is right underneath of it. And then you click on the link and it takes you to the pre-recorded Zoom. You could
All right,
then
I will
send that.
read it all
Okay.
tomorrow. A boy that swam with my oldest grandson was in the Olympics. So as a swimmer and stuff, so we've been, I've been kind of doing everything in front of the TV. So I'm going to excuse myself, and I'll revisit this again, and maybe but that was my thing. I was wanting to know how I could preset that up for folks, but you know what? It puts me in that uncomfortable feeling place.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
don't go there.
I don't need that right now. I need to just,
Exactly. Keep it simple. Keep
Right.
it old
Yeah.
school. Whatever you know, and
Yeah.
probably the best thing about what Fred said was that when you started it sounds like you were the same as I was, Barbie. You just did it a lot faster and a lot more intense because you had a bigger why, I
Yeah.
think. But I was ignorance on fire. I didn't know any better. It was, and so all we need to do is recreate that excitement, and we can happily play ignorant until we get to know what it is that
I'm so ignorant. I don't even, there's just so many places for resources, and I'm trying to narrow it down. And then my internet has been going on and off of me right in the middle of stuff.
So
And-
just embrace it. Decide, embrace it.
And I
Embrace
thought,
it.
you know what? I'm going to
It's all
call
good.
Spectrum and just tell them, you know what? I'm trying to run a business, and what I pay you a month, I should have internet 24/7. I shouldn't have to keep signing back in or rebooting or whatever. And I got a recording last night, and I thought, tomorrow's another day. I'll deal with them tomorrow. So, all right.
Or
I'm
get
gonna
Jack
go.
on it.
Oh, no, he gets more frustrated. You know, we just didn't come from that techie generation and it just doesn't happen naturally. So, but I'm getting there. So, okay, I may get a hold of you. I may not. I have such a big list for this week. But
Just
it's good to have
breathe.
fun.
Yeah, just take a deep breath and just do something. Whatever
Yes.
it is that you can do, it's okay. Even if
Yep.
if it's only a 10th of the list, at least you did something and you.
It was
you
more than
moved
I did
forward.
yesterday.
Exactly.
Good advice.
All right,
Good
you guys
advice.
have a
All right. Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
bye.
All right, guys,
Bye.
take
Thank
care.
you.
Yeah, just pick one, Barbie, and go with it.
Yep.